1,000 years ago, beasts from the Black Abyss invaded the human world. But when the monuments appeared, they gave humanity a small chance to survive. These monuments granted people special powers called professions, and humans began fighting back. After leveling up over time, humans finally managed to push the beasts back into the Black Abyss and reclaim their land. Since then, Huxia built its provincial capitals around the 9 monuments. Every year, a special ceremony is held to choose high school students who will become the new defenders against the Black Abyss. But the beasts haven't truly disappeared. They're still lurking in the dark. To stop them for good, the young must grow stronger. In year 53, on job transfer day at the Lintian City Monument Branch, a man stood on stage and announced the start of the ceremony. Soon, the monument would assign professions to each student based on their talents. No matter if they got a combat or support role, they all had a duty to serve their nation, Huxia. The future rested on their shoulders. The students were excited. After studying for 18 years, they would finally awaken their powers. One student hoped for a combat role so he could join a guild and earn easy money. The guy next to him said being a warrior wasn't that simple. Their school only had a 50% success rate for combat roles. Then they noticed a quiet student nearby and laughed. Lintino was still asleep during the ceremony. Everyone at school knew him as a lazy slacker. If he even got a support profession, that alone would be a miracle. One of them joked that a useless class like a beast tamer would suit him perfectly. Tianhao then finally woke up. He was the lowest-ranked student at Lintian City High School. After crossing over into this world, he had made it to this day. He wondered what kind of profession he'd receive. The guy who mocked him walked over and asked what profession he wanted. Tianhao answered with a grin. His goal was an S-ranked talent or a hidden class. They laughed at him, telling him to stop dreaming. They said he probably wouldn't even get a lifetime class. After all, in the last potential test, he only got a C. Based on that, Tianhao knew his chances were slim. His stats were low. Still, he believed that nobody could rise up and become great, especially since he had already crossed over into another world. If that was possible, then so was a miracle. That's why he still hoped to get a good profession. Soon it was time for Class 2 from Lintian City No. 1 High School to take the stage. Names were called one by one. First up was Wong Dong. In his mind, he wanted the loser Tianhao to watch him shine during the job transfer. The facilitator explained that the process would take about 5 seconds. If he felt any discomfort, that was normal. Just bear with it. He placed his hand by the monument. A bright light flashed and the transfer was a success. His new class was Warrior. He was thrilled. A system then appeared and showed that his talent was C rank. The facilitator told him that even a C rank was impressive among regular people and wished him success as a warrior. He was told to go to the Lintian City Guild Center, where pros would teach him how to use his new skills. Some girls who liked him squealed as he passed by. They told him not to forget them. Others were jealous. Being a warrior meant stable work for life. While showing off, he bumped into Tianhao. He said he didn't even notice someone was there. Turns out it was just their class's dead weight. Wong Dong had always bullied him, and now that he had a powerful job, Tianhao felt things would only get worse. Other students circled around. They called Dong out for not saying sorry after bumping into him. One even said he found Tianhao annoying. They joked that with his long face, he probably thought he looked cool. But Dong just waved it off. He said he was in a good mood and wouldn't let trash ruin it. He invited the guys for drinks at the tavern that night. Tiana wondered how a bully like Dong could become a warrior. It only made him more curious about what job he would get. The bullies also talked about him. They were sure his job would be nothing compared to Dong's. Then the facilitator called out the next name. It was Tianhao. He walked toward the monument. As he stood there, he silently prayed. He didn't care what class he got as long as it could help him survive. He held his breath. Then he placed his hand on the monument. Lightning sparked from it. Seeing that flash, he felt a little hopeful. Maybe things were finally turning around. Everyone waited for the result. The light slowly faded. The facilitator told him to brace himself. His job was Summoner. Tianhao looked disappointed. The crowd burst into laughter. Summoner was known as a sewer-tier profession. Technically, it was a combat class, but raising summoned creatures was expensive and barely worth it. That's why people thought it was a trash job. They pied him for getting the worst class possible. Life wasn't going to be easy. But then something popped up, a system message that it had detected his awakening, his true identity, Abyssal Lord. He would now be granted a random SSS level talent. The system explained that with the Abyssal Lord path, he would gain a random SSS level Abyss talent every 10 levels. Tianhao tried to wrap his head around it. If it was true, he could get 10 SSS talents by level 100. Then a ticket was given to him by the lady. He stared at it as the system announced the start of the draw. It then congratulated him. He had received the SSS talent, Demonic Sacrifice. Demonic Sacrifice lets the user give up a portion of their max HP permanently to instantly level up a summoned creature and turn it into a demon, giving it divine powers from hell. Even after being demonized, the creature can still gain experience and grow stronger through battle. The cost was steep. It was a permanent loss of HP. But as a summoner, he didn't need to fight directly. As long as his summons were powerful enough, he'd be safe. and he could use gear that increased his max HP to make up for the loss. The system explained, for every 100 max HP he gave up, the summoned creature would gain 1 level. Right now, he has 1,000 horsepower. If he kept at least 100 horsepower for himself, that meant he could instantly boost one summon to level 9. Still, he knew it was risky. He planned to use the skill carefully. Since he stayed quiet, people thought he was upset. The facilitator tried to comfort him, saying there were still other paths in life. Tianhao thanked her and said he would make something of himself. Even then, the crowd still looked worried. Someone in the audience suggested he should just go home and think things through. Tianhao admitted summoners were seen as weak and useless, but he had already decided he would become the strongest summoner in the world. A few hours later, he arrived home. His sister asked how it went. He simply answered, "Summoner." She immediately felt sorry for him. She had just come out of the shower and was only wearing a towel. A small towel was draped over her shoulder. Tianhao grabbed it and began drying her hair. She told him that next year when she gets her profession, she'd become a mage and protect him. He shoved the towel back at her and told her not to worry about him. She should focus on keeping herself safe. She pouted and said he was bullying her again. Just then, he got a message and immediately told her he was heading out. The message said there would be an assembly. He wasn't sure what it was about, but decided to check it out. The teacher informed the class that the job transfer results were quite good. There were 5 warriors, 8 mages, 11 support roles, and 1 summoner. Dong, who was sitting behind Tianhao, scoffed that a worthless person ended up with a worthless class. They mocked the summoner, convinced that being one meant his life was basically over. Because Tianhao's situation was a bit unusual, the teacher handed him a beginner's guide to help out. Tianhao expressed his thanks. The teacher then added that if Tianhao ever ran into problems, he should come to him for help. After that, he told him to return to his seat. Tianhao felt a bit overwhelmed when he saw how thick the book was. It confirmed his suspicion. Being a summoner put him at the bottom of the hierarchy. Next, the teacher addressed the class, explaining that they had been gathered because the school wanted to collect detailed data on everyone who successfully changed jobs. All the job change students would be present, so he warned them not to embarrass him. The group headed outside for the aptitude test. The instructor then announced that they'd begin. A mage went first. He struck the testing device and received a respectable score of 73, indicating decent talent. Then it was Dong's turn. He hit the machine with his sword and scored 89, clearly one of the top students. Tianhao was called up next. He had read about a basic summoning spell in the book, but he hadn't actually tried it yet. Still, he chose to trust the process and hoped it would work. He opened the book and began to read the spell. A breeze began swirling around him. Everyone was disturbed by the sudden gust of strong wind. Dust filled the area, making it hard to tell whether he had successfully summoned anything. When the dust finally settled, a slime appeared on the ground. Tianhao was stunned. The entire class burst into laughter. The slime looked too cute to be taken seriously. It was hard to imagine it fighting. Someone even joked that it was only good for cleaning floors. The slime clung to his leg, and he could hardly believe this was his summoned creature. The status window revealed its stats. Level 1, 500 GP, 9 attack power with 2 skills, corrosive slime and slime spit. Tianhao frowned. With only 9 attack power, it felt like it wouldn't even leave a scratch. The teacher asked everyone to settle down so they could see the test result. They all turned to the board and saw a score of 9, nothing more. The room went silent in disbelief. While the students laughed, the teacher tried to offer some words of encouragement. Tianhao asked if he could give it another shot. The teacher allowed it. He decided to test his class's unique ability. By using sacrifice, his summoned creature could be permanently demonized and upgraded. He chose to spend 200 points just to try it out. The other students looked on with confusion. To them, it didn't matter how many times he tried. They believed nothing would change. His total HP dropped from 100 to 800. Then a red lightning struck the slime. Its body began to twist and shift. Everyone stared in anticipation. The transformation continued, growing more intense. And when it was over, Tianhao stood before his new companion, a demonized slime. Now at level 3, it had 1,200 horsepower, 120 attack power, and 3 skills: corrosive slime, slime spit, and dance of the demon. The once blue slime had turned crimson and grown 2 sharp horns. He launched the attack. The slime leapt into the air. Then in a flash, it dashed forward and struck the target cleanly. All eyes turned to the scoreboard. For a moment, it flickered as if it had short-circuited. Everyone was stunned by the result. It displayed a score of 120. They couldn't believe how strong he was. It seemed impossible for him to get such a high score, especially when Dong had only scored 89. Dong was in disbelief. He questioned how it could have happened. Even the legendary war god of Huxia, Fun Chongyun, had only managed a score of 101 back in the day. The idea that Tianhao hit 120 was hard to accept. He accused Tianhao of tampering with the machine, pointing out that he took the test twice. His lackey backed him up. They told the teacher that jumping from 9 to 120 was highly suspicious. Tianhao admitted to himself that he did interfere, but only by using his class ability on his own summon. The teacher acknowledged that their doubts were reasonable. Tianhao insisted that he didn't cheat. The teacher walked over to inspect the machine. There was a strange colored line across the screen. After examining it carefully, the teacher concluded that the machine had simply malfunctioned. Tianhao hadn't cheated. Dong felt relieved to know it was just a machine malfunction. In his mind, there was no way that loser could ever surpass him. He then asked what would happen to Tianhao's score. One of his lackeys quickly chimed in, saying it was clearly 9 points since the machine had worked fine the first time, and everyone saw it. The teacher announced that because of the malfunction, Tianhao's result would be voided, and he'd have to retake the test later. Tianhao was surprised that he was being given another shot. Some students protested the decision, accusing the teacher of covering for him. But the teacher stood firm. Since the machine was broken, the testing was over. Those who hadn't taken the test, including Tianhao, would get another chance once the machine was repaired. One of the lackey's eyes flared red as if he was about to start something, but he backed down the moment Dong gave him a cold glare. Dong sneered that even if Tianhao took the test again, trash would still be trash. He told him to keep dreaming. Then he turned to his group and told them to head back with him to the level 1 Black Abyss. Tianhao remembered it as a beginner's dungeon. He figured it would be the perfect place to test out his demonized slime, so he decided to go there too. The group then took their leave. Later, the repairman arrived and discovered the machine had been damaged by a student, no less. When they saw the extent of the damage, they wondered if the school had actually birthed a genius. Nearby, an old man noticed Tianhao. He walked over and commented that Tianhao's physique was well suited for a summoner. The line struck a chord with Tianhao. It felt familiar, though he couldn't remember where he had heard it before. He asked the old man if he was really talking to him. In response, the old man revealed a top-tier summoner's staff, offering it for 300 gold. Tianhao was skeptical. To him, it looked like nothing more than a fancy stick, and the price seemed like a scam. But the old man insisted he was only offering it to him because he believed they were fated to meet. For anyone else, he said, the price would have been at least 1,000. As Tianhao held the staff, he could feel its power radiating through him. With no proper summoner's guild around, good gear was rare. So despite his doubts, he decided to take it. The old man asked for 300 gold. Unfortunately, Tianhao only had 92. He asked if the old man could give him a discount and sell the staff for 92 gold instead. The old man accepted it as a deposit. He explained that with the payment, the staff would be reserved and wouldn't be sold to anyone else. However, if Tianhao truly wanted to claim it, he would need to travel to the deepest part of the level, 1 Black Abyss maze, and retrieve a specific treasure. Only then would the staff be his. Tianhao considered backing out, but it felt too late. Deep down, it felt like he had just accepted a quest from an NPC. The old man handed him a paper and said that once he reached the deepest area, everything would become clear. Then he insisted that Tianhao place his fingerprint on it. Tianhao asked why he was being dragged into this man's personal errand. Eventually, he stamped it. The old man grinned and reminded him of their agreement. Tianhao walked away, feeling a little defeated. After he left, someone approached the old man and respectfully called him Elder Fang. The teacher then reported that the testing had been suspended due to the machine breaking down. He suggested the elder return for now. Elder Fang asked if he knew the student. The teacher replied that Tianhao was in his class. He felt sorry for the boy having drawn the short end of the stick as a summoner. He knew the road ahead would be a tough one. The elder nodded in agreement. At the entrance to the level 1 Black Abyss, the air was cold. Towering before him was a massive structure housing a portal. This place, also known as the Cold Valley Abyss, required a team of 3 to 5 people to enter. It was restricted to levels 1 through 10. Anyone outside that range would be immediately purged by the overseer. Since it had a party requirement, Tianhao knew he couldn't tackle it alone. He pulled up the leaderboard. At the end of the monthly rankings, those who reached the top received generous rewards. Currently, the #1 spot on the leaderboard belongs to Fang Chung Yun. The reward for first place is a beginner chest plate that grants 30% armor, 20% magic resistance, and boost max HP by 120 points. Tianhao recognized it as excellent early game equipment. He quickly realized it was worth fighting for the top rank. Someone nearby noticed him and sneered, asking what a bottom feeder like him was doing there. Noticing that he intended to enter the abyss, the guy mocked him, saying he probably wouldn't survive more than 10 seconds inside. Tianhao was growing tired of hearing the same insults. It was Dong and his usual crew. Dong told him to go back home and stick to farming. Tianhao told them to mind their own business. They challenged him, pointing out that the dungeon required a minimum of 3 people. Could he even get in? Dong raised his voice, boasting that they had a C-rank warrior and 2 E-rank mages, and asked the crowd if anyone wanted to join their party. Immediately, people swarmed around them. Everyone was eager to join their team. A priest promoted himself, hoping to be picked. Dong selected 2 party members. His lackey hyped him up, bragging about his strength and their goal of dominating the leaderboard. Hearing that, the new recruits grew nervous, worried they might slow the group down. Suddenly, the portal pulsed and spat out a skull and bones that terrified the newcomers. Dong's lackey grinned and warned them to stay close, or else they might end up the same way. The leader then spoke up, saying they should get moving. Tianhao quietly watched them disappear inside. He knew Dong and his crew were bad news. The newcomers likely wouldn't make it out alive. While death wasn't permanent, thanks to resurrection, it came with a heavy cost. That's why clearing the dungeon without dying was always the best strategy. Tianhao activated his status window and displayed it above his head. It revealed he was a level 1 S-rank summoner. That drew the attention of someone nearby who nudged his teammates and suggested they invite Tianhao to join. But one of the others immediately shot down the idea. Despite the S rank, he argued that a summoner was still useless. The woman in the group sighed in disappointment. They thought they had found someone promising, only to realize it was just more dead weight. They decided to wait and look for better options. Our MC then spotted someone in the crowd. It was Lu, a level 1 bard with E-rank talent. Unfortunately, being E-rank meant her buffs wouldn't be very effective, at least not until she reached D rank or higher. From the look on her face, Tianhao could tell she had been waiting there for days. He walked up to her and asked if she wanted to team up. She blushed at the offer. Tianhao extended his hand and told her he planned to compete for a spot on the leaderboard, but no one was willing to party with him. Deep down, Lu knew that was a long shot, but he was handsome, and she didn't want to let the chance slip by. So, she agreed to join him. Just a few seconds later, they exchanged introductions. Tianhao reassured her that once they entered the dungeon, he'd handle the monsters. All she had to do was focus on staying safe. Her eyes sparkled like hearts. The thought that he might be worried about her made her feel giddy. She promised she wouldn't be a burden. Now they only needed one more member. Suddenly, a loud voice echoed across the area, calling out, "Goddess King!" Heads turned instantly. When Shu-Qing appeared, she drew everyone's attention, especially the men. She was a level 1 druidess with a rank talent. Many rushed to offer her a spot in their parties, but internally she found them all irritating. A commotion broke out as they fought over her. Tianhao recognized the campus belle immediately. To his surprise, Ching seemed to recognize him too. She stopped right in front of him, staring so intently it made him uneasy. In her mind, she was considering teaming up with him. Then with a playful tone, she acted cute and demanded to be added to his party. The men who admired her were furious and filled with envy. Suddenly, Tianhao found himself in a very awkward situation. Ching grabbed his hand and stepped into his personal space without hesitation. The others began complaining, wondering why he was chosen. Of all people, poor Tianhao, he hadn't done anything yet, that he was catching all the heat. Irritated, Ching yelled at them, announcing that she had already joined a party and told them to get lost. Her blunt attitude caught everyone off guard. She rushed off toward the portal. Tianhao called after her, asking why she wanted to join his team. She answered honestly. She was aiming for the leaderboard and needed 2 carry-ons. If she could take some trash all the way to first place, no one would ever look down on her again. Her choice of words was kind of hurtful. She told them to stop standing around and start moving. Tianhao sighed, slightly troubled by the fact that they now had a little princess on their team. Shu quietly asked if it would just be the 3 of them. He confirmed it. There wasn't anyone else suitable to join. He told her that if things ever got too dangerous, she should feel free to leave the party and retreat. They stepped through the portal and into the snow-covered dungeon. The cold hit them instantly. Even with the cold resistance gear Tianhao had bought, it didn't seem to help much. Offered to cast a low-level resistance aura. She gently plucked her small harp, and a warm golden light wrapped around them. Ching glanced away and remarked that maybe wasn't completely useless after all. Tianhao reminded them that they needed to move quickly. They were here to compete for the leaderboard. Suddenly, a pair of glowing red eyes appeared from the shadows. Tianhao stared it down. It was a corrupted, wandering wolf, level 1. Its stats showed 400 GP, 21 attack, 200 agility, 1 defense. Its skills were plague spread and weakened howl. A tragic creature, its soul was bound to the cold valley abyss, trapped in a broken body. It was considered a standard class monster. Ching recognized it right away. She smiled, saying the timing was perfect. She had been meaning to get some practice in. Then she transformed into a spirit cat. Watching her semi-beast form in action, Tianhao finally understood what it meant to be a druid. She leapt and immediately charged at the monster. She slashed at the wolf with her claws. Tianhao noticed that the wolf began taking recurring damage. He quickly deduced that her claw attacks had inflicted a bleeding effect. Shure was genuinely impressed by Ching's strength. The wolf dropped loot, wolf pelts worth 20 gold per bundle and wolf fangs that went for 10 gold per bundle. Ching handed the items to Shure as thanks for casting the cold resistance aura earlier. She explained that she didn't like feeling indebted to anyone. Shure smiled, touched by the gesture, and told her she didn't need to be so formal. After that, Ching suggested they keep moving forward. Tianhao gave one last look at the fallen wolf before following. Before long, their path was blocked by 3 more wolves. Without hesitation, Ching shifted into her beast form and charged. She tore through the wolves, cutting them down swiftly. However, handling 3 at once proved to be a bit much. Still, she didn't let it slow her down. She had her eyes set on the leaderboard. Shui grew concerned when she noticed Ching was injured. She offered to cast a low-tier healing spell, but Ching refused. The spell wouldn't restore much health anyway, and she advised to conserve her mana. Instead, Ching pulled out a potion and took a drink. Tianhao gently tapped Shure on the shoulder, offering a silent gesture of comfort. As they continued walking, they stayed alert and scanned their surroundings. Up ahead, Ching unknowingly stepped on a magic circle. Her instincts kicked in. She knew immediately that it wasn't good. In an instant, a massive hammer came crashing down from above. She narrowly dodged it. The weapon had been hurled by a corrupted wandering zombie, an elite monster. It was level 4 with 600 GP, 56 attack, 100 agility, and 5 defense. Its skills included Hammer Strike, Rotting Stench, and Devour. It was a decaying corpse that spawned corrupted wolves. Though its brain was almost gone, its aggression was relentless against intruders. Seeing that it was an elite, Ching knew they were in for trouble. Jay grew anxious, startled that an elite monster had appeared out of nowhere. She asked why it would show up here. Tianhao guessed that Ching's rampage through too many corrupted wolves had provoked it. The zombie swung its hammer at Ching again. She was caught off guard by its unexpected speed. The blow sent her flying, and she slammed into a nearby boulder, panicked and turned to Tianhao, asking what they should do. The zombie raised its hammer again, ready to strike the unconscious Ching. Without hesitation, Tianhao summoned his demon slime. A thick mist spread across the area. Then the slime emerged, now at level 3. Tianhao gave the command for it to use a skill. Dance of the Demon. The slime dashed forward, moving so fast it left only a streak of light in its wake. The hammer came crashing down toward Ching. The ground split apart on impact, but the monster froze in surprise. Tianhao calmly suggested to take a moment to check whether its attack had actually landed. The slime had already snatched Ching away and gently handed her over to Tianhao, instructed to bring Ching to a safe spot nearby and heal her. He would handle the wandering corpse himself. The zombie prepared to swing again. Tianhao commanded the slime to use slime spit. The creature leapt into the air and soared above the monster. A devilish grin formed on its gooey face. The demon slime unleashed a shower of red slimy liquid onto the monster below. The creature raised its arms to shield itself from the attack. Tianhao quickly followed up by ordering the slime to use Demon Dance again. He could tell that the monster's defense was tough. They were only managing to deal about 50% of the expected damage. He needed a new approach. The monster flinched. It was beginning to realize that the slime's attacks could melt through its flesh. The slime charged in again. Tianhao quickly formed a plan. He commanded the slime to combine Demon Dance with strong, corrosive slime, targeting the monster's ankle. The slime lunged forward with precision. It struck the monster's ankle. It worked. The monster instantly collapsed. Shower continued tending to Ching with healing magic. Eventually, Ching's eyes fluttered open. She caught a glimpse of Tianhao in action and saw just how powerful he really was. Meanwhile, Tianhao had analyzed the fight and realized the monster's lower body had weaker defenses. He ordered the slime to keep targeting that area. Slime began raining down again. It piled up until it reached the monster's waist. Even its hammer began to melt from the corrosive slime. And with that, Tianhao brought down the corrupted, wandering zombie. He gained 120 XP, a corpse hammer, 10 wolf hides, and 10 wolf fangs. He leveled up to level 2. He was stunned by how much experience he had just received. The two girls were equally shocked by his strength. Zur asked if summoners were really that powerful. Ching replied that it wasn't about the class. It was Tianhao himself. His strength was terrifying. Taking down an elite monster solo wasn't something just anyone could do. Tianhao approached her and gently asked if she was okay. She blushed at his concern. She answered that her injuries were only minor. Su then mentioned that her healing chant was slow and they needed to stop and rest. But Ching refused, reminding them that they were racing for the top of the leaderboard. She insisted that she could still fight and urged them to keep going. But her legs wobbled. She could barely stand. Tianhao caught her and supported her weight, asking how she expected to compete for the leaderboard if she died trying. She blushed, then admitted he had a point. Reluctantly, she agreed to rest first. Tianhao told her that the map showed a nearby cave. They'd spend the night there. They soon arrived at the cave. Tianhao suggested that they rest while he stood guard outside. Shu, completely drained from overusing her magic, fell asleep the moment she lay down. They were both surprised at how quickly she knocked out. Tianhao gently urged Ching to get some rest as well. Just before he stepped out of the cave, Ching quietly thanked him for saving her earlier. Tianhao didn't respond right away. He simply stared at her, her face flushed with embarrassment. She quickly added that she wasn't the kind of person to forget a favor. Then, clearly flustered, she turned around and mumbled that he should pretend she never said anything. Tianhao couldn't help but smile. For all her sharp words, the tsundere noble girl had a sincere heart. From inside, Ching peeked out and watched him leave. Outside, now alone, Tianhao decided to check his status. After leveling up to 3, he was now at level 3. His HP had risen from 800 to 1200, MP from 300 to 400. His attack power jumped from 12 to 40. Spirit increased from 80 to 100. Tianhao smiled, pleased with his progress. He activated the skill fully armed. It wasn't bad at all. Actually, it worked just like a buff-type enhancement. His HP rose by 400, and that boost alone was enough to allow him to level up the slime 4 more times. Still, he realized that if he couldn't increase his HP cap any further, he'd need to find an alternative method. So he used Convert to transfer 400 GP. His HP dropped back down to 800, while the demon slime leveled up to level 7. Its stats saw a big boost. HP increased to 1400. Attack power reached 140. Agility hit 120, and defense climbed to 7. It also unlocked a new skill, Split. Tianhao was curious. Were the slime's clones different from the original? He decided to test it out. The demon slime jumped into the air. Once it was a safe distance from Tianhao, he gave the command, use Split. Sure enough, the slime's body is divided into 2. Tianhao observed closely. He even checked their stats. Both slimes were now at level 7 with 700 GP, 140 attack power, 130 agility, 4 defense, and the same skills, except Split wasn't available for the copies. In short, their HP had been hauled. Agility increased slightly, and defense dropped. He wondered how long the effect would last. Just then, a timer appeared above the demon slimes. 3 minutes. Tianhao was stunned. That wasn't much time at all. Suddenly, he heard something coming from inside the cave. His senses flared. He knew something was wrong. The 2 girls were in danger. He rushed back inside. What he saw made his heart skip a beat. Shu and Ching were facing a massive monster. Without hesitation, Tianhao ordered the slime to split again. The slimes lunged forward and attacked. The result, only minus 25 damage. Tianhao was shocked by how little effect it had. The monster was a giant snow rabbit, level 8. It had 800 GP, 80 attack power, 500 agility, and 6 defense. It looked bizarre. A humanoid rabbit with the head and body of a rabbit, but walking upright on 2 legs. Snow rabbits thrived year-round in frozen environments, growing dense fur that made them resistant to basic attacks. Shu and Ching immediately broke into a cold sweat with a 6-cell gap between them and the creature. They knew they didn't stand a chance. The snow rabbit opened its mouth unnaturally wide. Then it lunged at Tianhao. Ching shouted for him to be careful. Tianhao shrugged it off, saying, "It's just a rabbit." The demon's slime responded with a shot of slime spit, but while the snow rabbit was charging, it suddenly vanished. The slime attack missed and splattered on the ground. In the blink of an eye, the snow rabbit reappeared right behind the demon slime and launched a powerful kick. The blow sent the slime flying across the cave. And just like that, the rabbit was on it again. It landed a punch before the slime could even recover. The attacks kept coming, non-stop. Tianhao quickly ordered the slime to retreat and used Dance of the Demon and strong corrosive slime. The slime pulled back at top speed. Tianhao observed closely. The snow rabbit was unbelievably agile. It excelled at dodging. Seward, overwhelmed, asked how something could be that fast. Ching explained that the snow rabbit was known as one of the trickiest monsters in the abyss. Many teams had been wiped out by it, but what puzzled her was why it attacked them in the first place. They hadn't even entered its territory. Realizing the slime's attacks weren't doing any real damage, Shui suggested jumping in to help. Tianhao found himself in a tough spot. Dance of the Demon had been interrupted earlier, and now it was on cooldown. He quickly ordered the slime to fall back, but the creature continued taking hits. Shu, unable to stand by any longer, made a move to help. Ching tried to stop her. She picked up a rock and threw it at the snow rabbit to divert its attention. It struck the rabbit right on the forehead. The snow rabbit slowly turned to face her. Ching froze in fear. The snow rabbit let out a fierce roar. Frantically, she rummaged through her bag and threw a carrot at the rabbit. The snow rabbit's eyes lit up. It instantly transformed into a cuddly, adorable bunny and happily munched on the carrot. All three were dumbfounded. Tianhao realized this monster was just hungry. Ching, on the other hand, was baffled. She asked Zhu'er why she even had carrots on her. Shu explained that she brought them as emergency rations for the group, but once the rabbit finished eating, it glared at them again. Sensing danger, Shu panicked and bolted, tossing carrots behind her as she ran. Naturally, the rabbit chased after the trail of food. Tianhao knew they were almost out of carrots. If they were going to take the rabbit down, they needed to act fast. He told Shu to toss her bag to Ching. Ching looked confused, but Shu followed the instruction without hesitation. Ching caught the bag barely. The snow rabbit's attention immediately shifted to her. Instinctively, Ching transformed into her beast form, then glanced at Tianhao and asked what exactly he was planning. She leapt into the air just as the snow rabbit tried to strike her. Tianhao had no elaborate strategy in mind, only one goal: to kill it. The rabbit lunged again, this time aiming both fists at her. She was taken back by its speed. "Are you ready yet?" she called out to Tianhao mid-dodge. He told her to lure it into the cave. In that instant, she understood his plan. Without hesitation, she turned and bolted toward the cave. The snow rabbit charged right after her as Ching approached the dead end. She was certain the rabbit wouldn't be able to stop in time. And just as expected, it crashed headfirst into the wall. Boulders tumbled down onto its head. That was the slime's cue. It sprang into action, soaring above the rabbit, and began to rain down sticky, corrosive slime. The snow rabbit had walked right into Tianhao's trap. He ordered the slime to use split and follow up with slime spit. The rabbit's demeanor shifted. It grew cautious. Its eyes darted around as it realized it was completely surrounded. The demon slime wore a devilish grin on its face and continued to chip away at the rabbit's health. Eventually, the fight ended in their favor. Victory was theirs. Tianhao let out a breath of relief. It was finally over. He earned 200 XP and now only needed 100 more to reach the next level. But the battle left him thoughtful. Even though the snow rabbit was only level 6, the slime had struggled against it. He realized that while the slime excelled in area of effect attacks, it was lacking when it came to single-target battles. If they encountered a similar situation again, things could turn bad. The girls were also relieved that the danger had passed. Shu even burst into tears. She genuinely thought she was going to die. Meanwhile, Ching was fuming, scolding Tianhao for using her as bait. He apologized and explained that she was the only one fast enough to dodge the rabbit's attacks. She blushed, taking it as a compliment. Then she turned her annoyance towards Shu, blaming her for bringing carrots into the abyss and causing the mess in the first place. Shui defended herself, saying she thought having dry rations was a good idea. "No one's going to gnaw on carrots down here," Ching huffed and told her to pack them all into her inventory. Before she could finish, Tianhao stopped her. He pointed out that defeating just one snow rabbit granted 120 XP, the highest yield they'd seen so far. If they could lure more into traps, they could level up much faster. The requirement to clear Coal Valley Abyss was to defeat the level 10 Abyss boss. And for that, every member of the team needed to be at least level 4. At the moment, both girls were at level 2, and Tianhao was level 3. That meant they needed to take down at least 5 more snow rabbits to get everyone to the right level. Zhu hesitated, worried. They barely managed to defeat one. How would they handle more? But Tianhao reassured them. This time they wouldn't be the hunted, they'd be the hunters. Ching immediately backed the idea. She had no time to waste grinding one monster at a time. If they could lure rabbits to them, it was perfect for their goal of reaching the leaderboard. They quickly got to planning. They placed a carrot on the ground as bait when a snow rabbit approached. They were surely proud of themselves. They jumped out from behind the boulder, launching a surprise attack. 3 hours later, they had finally leveled up. Tianhao reached level 5 while both Ching and Shu'er hit level 4. They'd already spent 5 hours inside the abyss. Hu'er was pleased. Reaching this level in just 5 hours felt like incredible progress. Ching agreed. It was fast. The previous record holder had taken 8 hours to clear the dungeon. Was hopeful. Maybe they could beat that record. But Ching quickly grounded her optimism, reminding her that they still had the boss to deal with, and it wouldn't be easy. Tianhao was thinking the same thing. According to the guide, the boss was the wandering zombie leader. It could summon corrupted wolves and wandering zombies to fight alongside it, making the battle a drawn-out endurance match. With their current setup, the fight could last at least 2 hours. Shua asked what the plan was now. Ching suggested they rest and recover completely before heading into the boss fight. Tianhao agreed. They take a 30-minute break. While they rested in the cave, Tianhao used Convert to transfer HP. His total dropped from 1100 to 800. He was beginning to worry. His HP gains were getting smaller with each use. He knew he'd need to find a better solution once they got out of here. The demon slime had now reached level 9. Its HP had gone up to 1,600, attack power to 150, agility to 130, and defense to 9. Its skill set remained the same. Strong corrosive slime, slime spit, dance of the demon, and split. No new abilities had appeared, and the stat boost wasn't particularly impressive. Tianhao silently hoped the upcoming boss fight wouldn't be too brutal. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed from outside the cave. They all jolted upright, alert and uneasy. Rushing outside to investigate, they were greeted by the sight of a magnificent creature, a winged horse with a shining horn. Tianhao asked in disbelief, "What is that?" It was a hidden boss, a unicorn, level 10. It had 1,500 horsepower, 120 attack power, 300 agility, and 10 defense. Its skills were soul-cleansing melody, aura, horn thrust, beast of hoof, stomp, and falling meteor. This creature was sacred, noble, and pure. A guardian of the divine beast resting deep within the abyss. It only appeared when the land's life force was threatened to drive out invaders and restore balance. Tianhao was stunned. A unicorn? He could hardly believe it. He felt lucky to have stumbled upon such a rare boss, but judging by its stats, it was far more powerful than the dungeon's main boss. The demon slime tensed, ready to fight. The unicorn's horn began to radiate energy. Moments later, its eyes lit up with an eerie glow. Tianhao stood completely still, his eyes vacant, as if he had fallen under the creature's spell. He was mesmerized by the creature's ethereal beauty. Without realizing it, he began walking toward the edge of a cliff. The demon slime noticed and sank its teeth into his leg. The pain snapped him out of it. He whirled around furious at the bite. Tianhao felt relieved, but then he saw that Ching and Shu were hypnotized too. They looked like they were seeing something beautiful, not realizing they were walking toward danger. Shu was just one step away from falling. When Tianhao shouted for them to watch out, he quickly pulled them both away from the edge. Then he placed them behind a boulder. They finally snapped out of it. Ching asked why the hidden boss appeared, was confused because she thought the boss was the wandering zombie leader. Tianhao said the unicorn is a guardian of life, and maybe it showed up because they killed too many snow rabbits. Zhu'er pointed out that it didn't appear when they fought a lot of undead before. Ching told them that beating the mini-bosses lets them reach the final area. Once they defeat the wandering zombie leader, they can clear the dungeon. But she pointed out that the hidden boss, the unicorn, had much higher stats than the main boss. She knew they could get wiped out. Zhu started crying. She didn't want to die and suggested they run away. Tianhao said running wasn't an option. After killing so many snow rabbits, they had already been marked. Zua regretted everything and said they were all going to die. Tianhao put a hand on her shoulder. He reminded her that it was thanks to her they had reached a time that was half of the leaderboard's record. Now they just had to beat the boss to clear the dungeon. He said it was just a hidden boss and he wouldn't let them get hurt. Ching acted confident and told them not to slow her down. Shu thanked them both. A few seconds later, the unicorn let out a loud roar. It had found them. They got ready to fight. The unicorn used horn thrust. As it charged, the ground cracked. It jumped across the cliffs. Tianhao told everyone to scatter. The unicorn landed on the other side. Now that they had spread out, it was surrounded. The dust cleared, and the unicorn looked furious. Then it used soul-cleansing melody. The sound made them feel pain. Tianhao called out to Shu. She began chanting Sage's narrative hymn for resistance, a lullaby for weakening the enemy, and war gods marched to boost their damage. The unicorn focused on her. Then it roared again. It used beast hoof stomp. Zhu froze in fear as it charged toward her. Just in time, Ching grabbed its horn to stop it. She balanced herself and kicked the unicorn hard. Then she taunted it. The unicorn negated loudly in response. It locked eyes on her as she ran. When it used horn thrust, she jumped high to dodge. She was starting to understand the boss's strength. Then the unicorn jumped too. Tianhao shouted at her to watch out. The unicorn stabbed Ching straight in the chest. She was in shock. Shui quickly ran to her. She begged her to wake up. Tianhao called for his slime. Seeing what happened, pushed him to fight. The slime leveled up to 9, raising its HP from 1,600 to 700 and its attack from 150 to 160. The unicorn turned to face them. The slime moved in. It got ready to spit. Then it unleashed a rain of spit on the unicorn. Yizu was amazed they managed to hold it back. The unicorn's biggest weakness was dark element attacks, and the demonized slime was the perfect counter. Tianhao told it to keep going. It released more slimes onto the unicorn, making it scream in pain. The unicorn tried to escape. It flew up into the sky, but Tianhao wasn't letting it run. He ordered the slime to use corrosive slime in Demon's Dance. The slime turned into a puddle, then launched itself into the air to chase it down. It easily reached the unicorn and got close to its face. The slime blocked the unicorn's path and it got startled. Tianhao praised the slime for doing great. The unicorn fell to the ground. It was furious. It let out sonic waves from its horn. Tianhao shouted for everyone to cover their ears. While making noise, the unicorn attacked the slime. Tianhao told the slime to use split to dodge. It nearly got hit, but just in time the slime split and the horn stabbed through the gap. Now there were 2 slimes. The unicorn used its stomp skill. The split had a time limit, so Tianhao knew he had to finish it fast. He told the slime to use corrosive slime again. One slime jumped high while the other got stomped on. The unicorn sensed the one coming from behind. But before it could react, the slime had already splashed it with a lot of slime. It tried to get away, but the slime clung to it, making it scream in pain. Because of its severe injuries, the unicorn went into a frenzy. Tianhao panicked when he saw it going berserk. He quickly told the slime to back off. The spot where the slime had latched on was badly damaged. The slime returned to Tianhao's side. The unicorn stared at them with rage. Tianhao held his ground, waiting for its next move, but he was puzzled. It suddenly stopped attacking. Then he noticed something strange. There was a puddle of purple liquid with bits of grass near the unicorn's feet. Ching asked why he was just standing there. She rushed in and told him to finish it off. Shu also started moving, but Tianhao told her to wait. Ching leapt at the unicorn and Tianhao watched as she finished it off with a scratch. The unicorn collapsed. Ching stood proudly over it, pleased with what she did. The unicorn lay in the puddle, whimpering. Ching stepped back and was shocked. She didn't expect it to be crying. Suddenly, a beam of light came down from the sky. It let out a sound wave that caused them pain. The force was so strong, it even made the ground shake and rocks shift. A boulder was about to crush them. Tianhao ordered the slime to swallow it. The slime tried to eat the rock. It grew larger to fit it in. Eventually, the boulder dissolved inside it. Tianhao praised the slime for doing a good job, but more rocks started falling. The whole place was falling apart. He told everyone to stick close. Jay panicked when a boulder nearly hit her foot. Ching was handling it. She clawed her way through the rubble. She moved fast, dodging the falling debris. Tianhao grabbed Che while Ching caught up. The slime formed a barrier around them. Ching then asked what was going on. Tianhao explained that the guardian had died and the magic was fading. Then he panicked. He saw a boulder falling toward the unicorn. He told the slime to split and protect it. The slime struggled but followed the command. A piece of it rushed toward the unicorn. It moved quickly and covered the boulder. After dissolving the rock, it checked on the unicorn. Then it formed a barrier to keep it safe. The unicorn coughed up blood. Soon the mountain stopped collapsing. It was time to check on the unicorn. Ching asked what was going on. Tianhao explained that the unicorn's blood had healing powers, and the land started to recover when it touched the ground. The unicorn shook. Ching suggested they kill it now so they could leave the abyss, but Tianhao stopped her. She asked why he kept getting in her way. Shu noticed something strange about the unicorn as well. Tianhao realized it was trying to say something. Suddenly, the unicorn jerked up. Zhu'er flinched. Ching insisted they kill it immediately, but again, Tianhao told her to wait. She argued they didn't have time for that. The unicorn coughed up more blood. Then it collapsed. They saw something sticking out of its belly. A horn had torn through it from the inside. Ching couldn't believe what she was seeing. Another unicorn had appeared. Ching stood frozen. The once barren land turned lush as the new unicorn came out. She realized the boss could reincarnate, so she rushed in, wanting to kill it before it got stronger. But Tianhao stepped in her way. Once again, he told her to wait. She raised her weapon, but Tianhao didn't move, so instead she slapped him across the cheek. His cheek bled. A drop of his blood landed on the unicorn's horn. The horn began to glow brightly. Ching was already irritated with Tianhao. While they argued, the unicorn tried to stand up. Then a notification popped up saying a contract had been formed. The two women paused and looked at the unicorn. Tianhao turned to see. A golden light floated toward him. It gathered at his third eye. He could now see the juvenile unicorn stats. Level 1, 600 GP, 15 attack, 100 agility, and 2 defense. Its skills included Soul Cleansing Melody and Beast of Stomp. Tianhao was suddenly transported to another dimension where only he and the unicorn existed. This was the outcome he had predicted. He had noticed earlier that the unicorn was trying to protect the baby inside it. But he never expected the baby could become a contracted beast. Now he had a second summoned creature. Ching asked what was happening. She looked around for the unicorn. Then the ground started to shake again. A huge crack split it open. Ching grabbed and pulled her along, shouting for Tianhao to run, but Tianhao knelt beside the fallen unicorn and promised that he'd protect his baby. Tianhao sat on the lush green grass where the unicorn's body had once been. The system displayed the loot: a forgeable unicorn horn, unicorn mane, venomous unicorn blood, and a Cold Valley treasure chest. He was focused on checking the drops while the slime behind him tried to warn him the ground was collapsing. The system congratulated him for breaking the record. The rankings had been updated. He expected it. Meanwhile, Ching was panicking. She shouted for him to hurry and come back, but the ground beneath him gave way. The two of them looked on in worry. Tianhao started falling. The system asked if he wanted to exit the dungeon. He tapped yes, and instantly, he disappeared. The other two were transported out too. They emerged from the dungeon. Shu thought she was really going to die. A moment later, Tianhao appeared. Ching grabbed him by the collar. He tried to calm her down. Everyone around them was checking the leaderboard, causing a stir. It hadn't been updated in a long time, so people were eager to know who made it. Some argued that no one could beat Fang Chongyun's record. Then someone stepped out of the portal, and the crowd rushed over, thinking it was the record-breaking team. Someone called Tianhao's party and asked if they were the one who just broke the record. A man called him an idiot for thinking that way. Since the group was likely forced to leave, they were sure it wasn't them. It all seemed logical to them. Hearing that made Ching furious, so tried to hold her back before she caused a scene. People started gathering near the portal. Dong's party stepped out. He mocked Tianhao for being kicked out. He walked up and said he didn't expect a loser like him to survive. Then he noticed the campus belle and asked why she was with someone like that. His lackeys told her to ditch Tianhao and join Dong since he was in the combat class. She called them dirty trash and told them to scram. Her words made them furious. Dong called over one of his lackeys, Yunf. Then he pointed out the massive gap between him and Tianhao. Tianhao just smirked. He told Dong to open his eyes. That comment pissed Dong off. Then the rankings updated. Tianhao took the top rank and Baldy was left speechless. His lackey lost their minds because of the result. Dong finally let go of Tianhao's collar. Other players were shocked too, especially since Chong Yun had held the top spot for 3 years. They immediately started looking up Tianhao. One of the lackeys couldn't believe someone like him could rank first. Yanfei accused him of cheating. He claimed that Tianhao had cheated on a school test before, so he must have messed with the leaderboard too. The crowd started to doubt Tianhao, wondering if it was possible. Their trust in him began to fade. Then someone shouted that they were all being ignorant. Yunf, annoyed by the interruption, demanded to know who said that, but he went pale when he saw who it was. A group of elites had arrived. Pang Yi, a level 7 berserker with B-rank talent. Song Shaolin, a level 7 priest, also with B-rank talent. Yu Hang, a level 7 light magician with B-rank talent. Mangu, a level 8 assassin with a rank phantom veil talent. And their leader, Murong Yu, a level 9 swordsman with the golden divine lion skill and a rank talent. They got overwhelmed when they saw the Hmong siblings. For most of them, it was their first time seeing them. They find them so dashing. They could tell that the temperament is worthy of the Murong family's golden divine group. Tianhao got intrigued. He saw that the Murong siblings have a title that is difficult to obtain. He wondered why they were there. Unlike the ordinary people, those family classes usually enter the Black Abyss through specific teleportation gates. But there are also family classes who come to form teams and choose to enter the Black Abyss with the ordinary folk. But Tianhao saw that they would already have a party, so it was a puzzle on what they're doing there. Dong introduced himself to the female Murong, but she snobbed him. Yunf called her out for doing that. Mangu replied that it is sad that such a person has appeared among the holy warriors. Yunf got angry. Dong stopped him. Then he stated that it's okay if she looks down on him, but he pointed out that Tianhao is a piece of trash and he must have used tricks to get on the top ranking. He warned Tianhao that he got lucky, but next time they meet, he threatened him that he will learn what true power is. Then he left. Ching was relieved that the barking dogs were finally gone. Yu talked to Tianhao, the one who just changed the ranking. He took off his gloves and extended his hand. Our boy was puzzled that he's looking for him since he just stood there. Morangi called him a fool and pointed out that her brother was offering him a handshake. Yu told her to calm down. Tianhao said hello, but he looked like he had no idea how to act. Then Ching grabbed his hand. Then she asked Yu if he's blind. She emphasized that he's already teamed up with her. Yu held back his anger and politely requested her to step aside since he is talking to him. But Ching dragged Tianhao because she knew that Yu was trying to snatch Tianhao from her. Murong replied that she doesn't want to waste time either and straightforwardly told them that they wanted him. The crowd was shocked and confused that the Murong family wanted to snatch a summoner, but given that Tianhao isn't an ordinary summoner, it made sense. The Murong family also wanted to break the record and teaming up with Tianhao would be the fastest way. Ching fought back. She can't give him to them, otherwise her record will be gone. Hang told her to step aside because they wanted him. The crowd expressed their opinion. They told them that it's better to get more resources than fight the Murong family, especially when that party has 2 level A and 3 level B. Shure was also worried. He confirmed with Tianhao that he doesn't want to team up with them. Ching replied that Tianhao wouldn't dare. Yu told Ching that she doesn't have the power to decide for him and suggested that they ask him what he wants. Then Yu, as the Knight of the Golden Divine Lion, formally extended his invitation to Tianhao. The screen appeared, and he had the option to accept or decline. Ching argued that Tianhao wouldn't do that, but he replied, sure. Ching's jaw dropped. Shure was surprised too. Then he firmly repeated his answer. Ching asked him again what he said, while Shure asked why. Yu commended him for being wise. Then he prompted him to accept the invitation on the screen. Tianhao looked at it. Ching yelled at him not to do it. You tempted him by saying that they could break records together, and that's a win-win situation. Tianhao pressed reject, and everyone was surprised. Murong Shu asked him what was the meaning of it, but you stopped her non-verbally. Tianhao told them to relax. He clarified that he's going to join them, but they have to agree to some of his conditions. That angered Mangu. She told him that letting him join them as a summoner is already a great favor, and he's being ungrateful. Tianhao took that as they are not willing to negotiate. You stopped him and asked what his demands were. He replied that it was just small conditions. He told them that after entering the Black Abyss, everyone must listen to his orders. Second, no one can steal his experience without his permission. And third, all loot from killing monsters is his. His conditions are insane, and that angered the party. The crowd even reacted that it's unreasonable. But someone argued that it's the party that's asking for help, so it isn't too unreasonable. But if they agree, it means that the Murong Guild will obey Tianhao's orders, and if they don't, they won't make it to the rankings. It was a clever move. Tianhao asked about their decision. The party members told their captain not to agree with it because the man was looking down on them. Ching looked proud of what he did. Ching taunts them by asking if they can't agree with it. Then she suggested that they go make it to the ranking themselves. The crowd gossiped that it was such a bold move to challenge the Hmong Guild in public. When he broke the record, they knew even the mayor would have shown him respect. Yi was ready to teach Tianhao a lesson. Yu reminded them not to forget the reason why they are there. He told Tianhao that since he had no intentions of forming a team, he shouldn't tease them. RMC replied that he can't just stand teams that use their powers to snatch people. His words offended Murong. Yu warned him not to get too full of himself and that he shouldn't celebrate so soon, and they left. Ching also wanted to leave. Murong had marked Tianhao as her prey. After that, Tianhao wanted to go back to the abyss. He knew that if they entered it 2 more times, they should be able to reach level 10. Suddenly, he sensed the eerie aura. Those 2 women were annoyed with him for tricking them when he didn't even plan to join them in the first place. They almost thought that he's an ungrateful and cold-hearted person. He asked them to hear him out. It was followed by his loud scream. The women made sure to give him lumps on his head and they left him to go resupply. The next entry's cool-down timer started counting. It was at 12341. Tanjo complained that his head hurts. He didn't expect them to be so ruthless. Since there's still more than an hour before the next entry, he decided to go find a place to rest first. The experience he gained from defeating the unicorn allowed him to reach level 6 just in time. He had no idea what the unicorn's abilities are, so he decided to check it first. He tapped on the screen and summoned it. A bright light appeared. He shielded his eyes from it. Unexpectedly, nothing was there. Our boy was confused about where his summon is. The system notified him that the summoning failed and he should check the status. Then it showed that the summoned creature has yet to hatch. He asked if he wanted to confirm hatching. He replied yes. The hatching process started, but it would take 3 days to finish. He had no choice but to wait. Then he realized that he hadn't had the time to check the loot yet. He was excited to see what he got. He was confused when he saw the mail. When he opened it, it contained the historical record gift pack. Then he received a title called The Fastest Man. He wondered what that was supposed to even mean. He didn't dwell on it since checking the gift pack is more important. He has to open it for a chance to receive a Heil Black Abyss equipment, materials, potions, etc. He opened it. 2 chests appeared in front of him. One contained a Name Guardian armor, which is usable by all classes. It increases HP by +50 and +1 defense. There's also 2 small EXP potions, and the description grants 50 EXP upon use. He was happy with it. He decided to check what's on the other box. His eyes bulged at what he saw. It was a silver-grade ice necklace. It has +50 magic and +10 spirit. It grants +5 ice resistance when equipped, reducing ice-type slow effect by 15%. He also received 1 XP potion, which grants 150 XP to the user upon use. And lastly, there was a Name Medium healing potion, which restores 150 GP upon use. He didn't expect it to actually drop silver-grade equipment. Equipment is ranked into 9 tiers. No grade, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, radiant, legendary, and divine. He didn't expect to get silver-grade gear right away. He felt so blessed. He equipped it. He could tell that it makes so much difference. It made him wear his game face. His stats showed his title, The Fastest Man. He is now at level 6 with HP of 1,100 plus 50, MP of 550 plus 50, Attack 58, Spirit 130 plus 10, Defense 5 plus 1, Agility 70, Luck 26, and his talent Demon Sacrifice is at grade. His skill is Fully Armed level 1, wherein the summoner's spirit power protects summoned beasts, slightly enhancing their stats for 180 seconds. He reached the summoned beast capacity of 2 out of 2 and had 2 skill points remaining. He was happy to find that his stats increased a lot, and he went all out in spending his skill points. His Fully Armed level 1 increased to level 3. It means that summoning beasts consumes less spirit power, doubles their stats, and lasts 200 seconds. He expected it to save him some time when running dungeons. The next thing he did was to level up the slime, so he summoned it. He planned to make a sacrifice of 100, but he found out that he could still advance. The screen displayed that he has 6 levels until advancement. He got so excited about what will happen if he advances, but he didn't find anything. He just decided to go for it. He tapped yes and waited. From his HP 1100, it decreased to 500. A gust of wind formed around the slime. It was so powerful that it became a tornado. He watched and waited. The slime slowly revealed flesh. Tianhao was in awe.